Now enter the custom 1250. If that is replacing the Sportster, just that single motorcycle, you're immediately cutting out like 90% of the current Sportster market. However, if they were to take that 950 and 1250cc engine and make it available in different trims like what they have with the Sportster, and why not just slap the Sportster name on there, I think it would do okay. And I think that is probably the direction they'll end up heading.
Alright, buenos dias, ¿qué pasó, you guys? John's Motor Garage, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about the Sportster S. I know I'm a little bit late to the show, but I figured we jump on the Sporty here, roll up the mountain, and chat a little bit about the bike. So let's jump into it. Now, for the record, this is just my unsolicited opinion on the motorcycle, just my thoughts on it. I'm not going to be going into all the nitty-gritty, in-depth details and specs on the bike. I highly recommend check out Moto Bob if you're looking for that. The dude does a phenomenal job. So the Sportster S, I first did a video about 8-9 months ago when Harley had officially announced the release of their custom 1250. And I wasn't real stoked on the custom 1250. However, as the Sportster S with this new label, I'm actually a little bit more excited about the motorcycle, and I'm going to explain why a simple name change is changing my opinion and my thoughts on the bike. We'll pull over right here for a second. So as many of you guys already know, the Harley Davidson Sportster, what an iconic motorcycle. It's been around since 1957. And one of the reasons why I personally think it's so popular is because it is a very versatile platform. That's the point I made in the last video, is the Sporty caters to such a broad audience between the 883 and the 1200 engine. Just that alone makes it more versatile, but also the fact that Harley from the factory offers so many different trims and levels of the Sportster. You've got, for example, the Iron 883. At one point you could get the Nightster all blacked out. You got the Roadster with your inverted front forks, more of a cafe racer style. You got the 48. You've got the Sportster 72, the basic 883 low. I mean, you get the idea. And if you don't like any of those, you'll note that people have built just about every single style of motorcycle on the Sportster platform. It really is just such a versatile platform. I was super impressed actually to learn when watching this new Harley video that using the Sportster Evo engine, there were some dudes who actually beat one of the ground speed records at the time, which is pretty amazing, using the freaking Sportster engine on a motorcycle. So when Harley announced this custom 1250, and there were rumors that it might replace the Sportster, which I didn't really think was ever going to happen, but I thought that's a terrible idea because you're going from a very versatile platform with lots of different trim levels to just one motorcycle that really looks like a pretty limited in what it's going to do as far as being a performance cruiser, you know, with your aggressive ergonomics. And so I actually think it's brilliant what Harley did end up doing, which was label it the Sportster S. And I think that was a smart move for a couple of reasons. For one, the Sportster name, it has that heritage. It's iconic. Everybody is familiar with it. It's almost like a brand in and of itself, just like Harley Davidson is such a notable name. So that carries a lot with it, and that doesn't happen overnight. Obviously, that happened over the last, you know, half a decade. So just the fact that you have the Sportster name, I think you're going to grandfather in a lot of support, a lot of people that will embrace it and be fans of this new bike. Again, just the fact that it's a Sportster. Additionally, I think companies will be more willing to invest in the aftermarket support for this motorcycle, making it more versatile than it would be otherwise, because we have seen examples of other bikes like your V-Rod, your FXDX, the Breakout, for example, which were great bikes but very limited, catered to a small niche audience. And while the V-Rod did last for 10 plus years, a lot of those bikes, they end up getting discontinued because, again, you're not getting a whole lot out of the motorcycle. Another cool thing is we've never had a Sportster S before. I mentioned some of the models we have had, like the XR 1200, for example, but we've never had the S. And if you're familiar with Harley, you know that typically the S version is like their top tier performance version. For example, with the Dyna Lowrider, they had a Lowrider S for just 2 short years. It was a very desired, still is kind of a desired bike. The S is premium. It's got the standard cruise control, dual disc brakes. It was the only Dyna you could get with the 110 or 117 from the factory with Harley Davidson. So I think the fact that we now have this new Sportster S with this Revolution Max liquid cooled engine, you know, they're starting out with this flagship model. I think it's kind of smart. It allows them to put that premium price tag on it. And even though it's still going to be kind of a niche market that they're targeting, whoa, that's sand right in the middle of the road. Even though it's still a niche market that they're targeting, because it has that Sportster name, I think it'll be pretty well received. Alright, so what were we talking about? Oh yeah, the Sportster S. Plus, I think this is a great way for Harley to kind of ease the transition with this new engine that a lot of people may be a little skeptical about at first. They can throw it out there on the Sportster S model, kind of test the waters, get some feedback, make adjustments as needed, see what people like. And those who are more skeptical, hey, you can still, for probably only the next like year, get your traditional Sportster. But those who want the Revolution Max, and maybe you weren't looking to get it on the Pan America, here's an alternative. So yeah, like I said, I think it has actually kind of a brilliant move. They pulled a fast one on us, telling us it was going to be a custom 1250, and then last minute, hey, it's the Sportster S. But I think it makes total sense. Within the Sportster lineup, you can always offer a bike, and if it doesn't do super well, like, you know, the Sportster 72, they only had it for a couple years, wasn't super popular. Then after a couple years, you get rid of it. And so it's kind of like a win-win. You're not running a whole lot of risk. Beautiful, beautiful. I need to get back out on the mountain bike. I used to ride all these trails on the mountain bike, and total blast. But motorcycle's fun too. Definitely fun on the motorcycle. You know, personally, I don't think I'm gonna go out and buy this bike brand new. And again, I'm just a Joe Schmo. It's really easy as a spectator on the sidelines to critique Harley on all the things they do or don't do, or to critique the, you know, designers, like, oh, it doesn't have the dual disc brakes, which that was kind of, that's something I mentioned in my last video. Like, it doesn't have dual discs and it's a performance machine. That doesn't make sense. But let's face it, the vast majority of us, you know, average riders, we're not going to be pushing the bike anywhere near the capabilities to necessarily require dual disc brakes. Otherwise, I really do think the Sportster S is a cool looking motorcycle. And furthermore, yes, I will use furthermore in this video. Furthermore, what was my furthermore though? Yeah, and furthermore, this allows Harley to kind of ease their way into this new transition. Instead of having to come up with a full brand new Sportster lineup, you know, every single trim overnight with the new Revolution engine, they can roll it out and ease the transition. So yeah, it's amazing how just a name change can really alter your perception. But as a custom 1250, I didn't really see a whole lot for this motorcycle, other than I thought it looked kind of rad but was limited. As a Sportster S, it makes a lot more sense. And one of the things I said in my last video was, I think the direction Harley should take, and probably was going to take, and it looks like they are, is take these, you know, the 975 and 1250 Revolution Max engines and put it in a Sportster lineup with the similar trims that we have currently. So no doubt in the next couple years we will see the end of the Sportster as we know it today, but we'll have a brand new lineup available for us. So there you have it, you guys. That's my thoughts, my 2 cents on the Sportster S. Doesn't really make a difference to me, but it's kind of cool that we have more options out there. Like and subscribe if you dig it. I appreciate the support, you guys. We'll catch you next time. Adios, hasta luego. Nos vemos.